Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns. You're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role-playing games with friends. This is the second session of a game called The Sprawl, which is a Powered by the Apocalypse game about cyberpunk missions. And I'm doing a cool thing with it because it's a cool game, but I'm running in Star Wars, which is fun. I previously played the game in a Shadowrun setting that Lowell ran, and that inspired me to give this game a go. So this is part of Star Wars Saturdays, even though we're playing it on a not Saturday, because my logic says it has to be Saturday somewhere. Or maybe you're watching it on Saturday. Who knows? Saturdays and Sundays are so close, friends. It's just a few hours away. Star Wars Saturdays is this ongoing anthology campaign that I have been running for the Gauntlet for a number of years, where folks can bring in characters from previous other RPG systems, because each month I choose a different RPG to hack, reskin, or tweak so that it can be run in Star Wars to let us tell a story for that month. And we are playing in a city called Corania City, which is on a planet in Zinj's Empire. The short version of that means it's after Palpatine's died, but not quite as far out to the Mandalorian. So the New Republic is establishing itself and growing to free the galaxy from the tyranny of the Empire. But there's still these Imperial remnants, including Zinj's Empire, which is under the auspices of a man who declared himself the warlord of the Empire, Zinj. This is his home planet, Sereno. And Corania City is the capital city of Sereno. It's pretty cyberpunky. There are corps that run the streets. However, instead of just corps, there are also occasionally stormtroopers. If bad things go, or if the corps have the right pull with Warlord Zinj, boys in white or stormies might show up, which make things worse. Because while in the movies they can't fire straight, they can't shoot straight, they sure do have a lot of blaster rifles to shoot you with, and big toys and TIE fighters and bombs and all kinds of terribleness, because they are an out military. You do not want to mess with them. Luckily, they don't involve themselves with the trivial affairs of corporations most of the time. The lot of you, including Alan, who could not make it today because he is doing a wonderful thing, you accepted a job at the end of last session. You accepted a job from your fixer by the name of Janus. You have been hired to free Sindar, a Sephi, that is a space gray elf girl. It's in Star Wars, but everything's in Star Wars, honestly. Like, if you look in Wikipedia for long enough, you will find all the things in Star Wars, and that's okay. So a Sephi who is a holo jockey, an HJ, like a DJ, a music maker. She makes this old style music called retro leap jump. Leap jump was popular during the Clone Wars. It is frenetic, and it's like the Lindy Hop, someone said, a space Lindy Hop or synth Lindy Hop. But she's quite good at it and has a number of fans. And she found herself embroiled in a contract not to her liking for a particular corporation known as Kitsune Corp, the Kitsune Media Group. And she asked to be freed from this contract, and you guys will be her emancipators, delivering her from a place where, who knows where. We'll talk about how you find out where that is, at the auspices of Janus. And you are going to deliver her to another place in Corania City, located in the Neon Quarter, at a place called Heaven Beneath Hell, an underground club where she will premiere her Leap Jump latest album. You were offered a bonus if you could release the current album ahead of the release party for her galactic tour for Kitsune Media Group. And yeah, you accepted the job. Now, before we move any further, and I have been unable to read the notes to see, I didn't see in the notes, did you guys roll to get a job? If couldn't see it, I didn't see it in the roll with me history, because we only had 3 die rolls on there. And I can't recall. Did we roll actually
You'd
roll
already
that move?
you did not. You had given us away.
Okay.
As
I screwed it up.
you'd set the price. Yeah. So I think we sort of said for next time, basically.
Cool. Yeah. So we need to do that. Who would like to roll get a job? Get a job is our. It is not a song. It is not your parent telling you to get a job. You're getting the job, and you roll with edge. So, who among you would like to roll the get the job move? Of course, it would be a great idea if Clay did it.
Yeah. You just rewind, right? Clay.
You go then. Okay. 11.
Nice.
Okay. So if you take a look on basic moves, Brandon, you'll see the get a job. Oh, sorry, it's peripheral moves. Peripheral moves on column E, get the job. When you negotiate the terms of a job, roll edge. On 10 plus, you choose 3 from the list below. Now, this gets us to legwork phase. As I talk over your decision making, let me help you to make the decision. Gear and intel are these things that are a group pool, and as you gather gear and intel in the legwork phase, when you go into action, which is the next step, we are actually doing the mission. Gear and intel can be spent at any time to explain, oh yeah, I planned for this. A little flashbacky. I planned for this. I had intel ahead of time. Give yourself a +1. Or I planned for this. I really need this particular laser drill. Spin the gear. You got the laser drill. So it gives you a little bit of narrative authority with some flashback powers to give yourself either stuff or pluses in roles. So that's why the employer provides useful information and the employer provides useful assets is important. And we don't even have to define what those are until you need it in the moment.
So definitely information and assets. And then I think the meeting doesn't attract attention because we have a lot of corporate heat.
Boy, you do. And let me remind you, friends, you all increased the clocks for the group you're about to go against. This will have some bad effects. So please don't be mad or think that I'm a killer GM. Understand that I am a fan of your characters, and by putting you through a horrible trial, a gauntlet, one might say, it's only because I love y'all. So with that in mind, we have that move out of the way. That is fantastic. And Janice, of course, loves you guys. He thinks you're wonderful, especially you, Dana. So let's go around the horns as a quick reminder for folks as to who is what. Let's start with the character keeper, starting from the left. Brandon, could you introduce yourself and tell us about your character?
Hi, Brandon, he, they pronouns. I am playing Claith Dage Crew, a former mercenary turned, I guess, droid, sentience aligned bounty hunter, or not bounty hunter. Anyway, job person.
Cool. Awesome. An ex-corp who's now out here running the shadows as it might be. That is fantastic. Appreciate it. And then Sherry, you're right in the middle, so you're up next.
Yes, I'm playing Dana Zort. She's from Block 13. She's a cat burglar of sorts, an infiltrator, and she likes to go by the most sort of unexpected routes to build it. At least that's her MO. And she has gear that really just gives her a sense of the surface. Let's see, alarm systems and things like that, just to help her get through the process. Not that she's a hacker. It's just a new set of awarenesses that she keeps. Let's see, that's mainly it.
Cool. And last but certainly not least, Will, if you could introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
At least in terms of stature. It is Wikchung Patiga, who is a Jawa from Tatooine who traveled all the way to Corania City with his colleagues Squackis and Wiwa to, find all this lovely tech that they've got. Right, they have so much tech. They put it in their eyes. Look at these eyes that he's got. They mean, only one of them's working at any given time, but they're pretty hot stuff, and you too could buy it for a low price. And the only thing I think that's additional about Wick is that he is a secret member of the Rebel Alliance. Not an active agent, but certainly a fellow traveler.
Awesome. And with those intros, I have a question for Wick. Wick, right now, there are 3 of you in your little mini clan. Squackus, Weewa, and Wick. But you came, if I remember, from Tatooine. There's a 4th Jawa who came with you. What was their name?
Their name was. Do you have Jawas on the names and species?
I don't. I just
then,
thought you'd be able to whip one up, but I would.
Oh no! I just now
Jawa
name generated everything because I don't know what Jawas are called. They're all just teeny. It was Seanock.
I muted myself. Seanock. Oh, thank you for dropping that in the chat. That's very helpful. Why is it? Oh, I would direct everyone's attention on the NPCs tab, and I'll actually be mean enough to share screen. Sorry, I'm going to take over your screen when I share. So this is Grim. He's a Ratataki. He's a Corp-owned big wad of meat with dermal plating, enhanced strength, and instinct to hurt. Grim killed Seanock. How long ago was it? And how do you feel about that?
Oh, I think it was not long after we arrived in Corania City. I think that Wick burns with a furious vengeance, along with Squackis and Weewa. Business must come first, as is the way of all Jawas. But one day he's going to get his, and he's definitely going to get it in a very bad way. We have plans for all of that gear that's inside of him.
And do you know that Grim killed Seanock because you witnessed it, because you've seen video of it, or just the word on the street is everybody knows that Seanock was killed by Grim?
I think that we know it because Seanock went on a job with Grim. Grim reached out to us to be, a runner for his corporation things, and seen him, but he was only taking one Jawa, didn't have the money for all of us, and he took Seanock off, and Seanock did not make it back. And the word on the street is that Grim uses his hirelings as like human shields, essentially. Like they're disposable once they finish the job for him. That way he doesn't have to pay them.
It's a very small shield that he has.
Yeah, human shield, probably the wrong word. Disposable,
No,
Yeah.
I got you. I just
Yeah.
the like
The
small
joke,
shield.
yeah.
It's like a buckler, really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. So that's our friend Grim. Thank you for that. You guys you have an intel of one and a gear of one. If someone wants to throw that up somewhere on the team sheet for notes, I think that might be a good way so that we all know where that is. Down on row 67 is where the notes are kept. Who wants to be the person keeping track of gear? And since Will is doing our like notes, could that be Sherry or Brandon, one of the two of you doing that? See, I already saw that Will was going to do it, but I'm taking it away from him. So Brandon, you say you don't mind?
Not at all. So we should just like one gear, essentially.
You can just put gear 1, intel 1, because you chose both of those, right?
There is a space on the clocks page for it, but
There is? Oh,
I
well,
would
then let's
agree.
just
I
do
would
that
agree that
there.
this is. No, I'd rather have it on the notes page.
We got another
to us.
page to look at.
Yeah, I'd rather have it on the same tab as our operators than flick back and forth
Also,
between.
then I'm going to remove it from clocks so that we don't think to look there.
Mhm.
I'll just hide that column. Boop. There we go. All right. So the legwork phase. The legwork phase of, and for anyone viewing, last week I screwed up the get a job thing by saying this is how much credit you get and stuff like that. I've panicked, made a mistake. The money that you make in the mission is based off the credits that each individual player stakes on the success of that mission, and there's a roll at the end to see if you get paid how much you offer. So legwork phase starts after you get the job and lasts until you decide to go do the job. It covers the acts of hitting the street, researching, using contacting moves to gather information, making a plan, collecting the appropriate equipment. All that stuff is our legwork phase. And failures during the legwork phase have two deleterious effects. The first and most important narrative one is that the corporations who you're about, corporation parentheses S, who you're about to hit, are becoming more aware that you are preparing to do this run, and their defenses will change, evolve, and increase in relation to their knowledge of someone coming to do a thing against them. The other thing about the legwork phase, ticks on the clocks tab, which you don't have to keep a close eye on, but that means that those ticks affect the getting paid roll that you make at the end. So that is a whole lot of preamble. Let's get into it. You've received the job. You went down to Chip-Off Cantina. You spoke with Janice. You guys had some trouble getting to Janice, but everybody was able to wiggle around and make it to him. He offered up the job. You accepted the job. And now he is closing up his little computer, grabbing a drink to go, and heading out of Chip-Off Cantina as some Kofuku, remember that it was Kofuku cover band music that's playing in here, because they don't play. There's a whole argument about old Kofuku and new Kofuku, because they all prefer the old Kofuku, but then some people will play the new, and so they just play covers. Dana, what do you do?
I think I followed Janice out. And as he said, no, and I'm like, hey, anything else you need me to look for?
He does the surreptitious glance either way, and he takes you to the side, stepping right outside and away from the front door. There's a bit of street noise as speeders are hovering by about 20 meters up in the air. Foo, 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 foo. And he leans in and he says, yeah, if you could, whatever intel you could get on the person who's keeping an eye on our quarry. There's someone who's in charge of that team, the Corp security team, who doesn't seem very Corp. Any information you could get on them, I would appreciate it.
Okay.
I'll appreciate it with credits.
Oh, that's the best kind of appreciation, Janice.
Of course.
Thank you.
You're welcome. He squeezes your shoulder, and it's like an affectionate move, but then he's off, and he's heading off to his speeder.
I know that thing. That's a whole hope you don't die kind of thing, right?
Kind of, sort of, yeah. A little bit of don't die, because then I don't get paid and you don't get paid.
Exactly. Very logical.
Let's swing into Claith. Claith, who remember in last session, your cousin was having some trouble with 66 Circle, and you wisely chose not to start some serious poodoo with those guys. And yeah, so there's that going on. And we did talk about afterwards making sure you got some XP for that. So thank you. You guys have all taken the job, so you should have an XP from that. I think everybody has at least 1 XP. Just a couple quick bits there. You will get XP when you separate Sindar from her corporate handler, when you leak the Omni Millennial Tour album, when you deliver Sindar to heaven below, and when the mission is over. Those will be all the places you get XP. And then your directives also give you opportunities for XP, which is how Claith already has 3 XP. So yeah, what are you doing, Claith? What do you want to do to get out a bit of legwork?
I think hitting kind of corporate research he would do, or I guess, yeah, research on maybe Kitsune's the mercenaries who they have working for them, like what kind of opposition we might be up against.
That sounds like an excellent line of inquiry, and I am a big fan of it. Let's take a look at our moves and see which one you're engaging. I found a cool pic of Sinok. Sinok has some flash, a little bit of style, wore red robes, which, by the way, that's a pic from an upcoming video game that's coming out on Switch and others.
I told him that wearing the red robes was a bad idea.
But he looks so cool.
It did look so good.
Cool.
So good.
So classic. All right. I think you are doing some research. When you investigate a person, place, object, or service using a library, dossier, or database, or combination of them, ask a question from the list below and roll mind.
Okay. Let's see.
Everything okay, Brendan? You having trouble with the die roller? Or? Oh.
No. I was you're saying ask one of the questions, and I was reading.
Oh, you were looking at the questions.
Like,
sorry, I thought you were having trouble with the die roller. Sorry.
No. Sorry. Like, where would I find? I don't know if we were going to sabotage equipment ahead of time. Like, where would I find their gear? And I'm rolling plus mind. I don't remember what my mind is.
1.
Top 1. So that is an 8.
Okay. With an 8 on research, let's see. On 10 plus, you would take intel, and I'll answer your question and follow-up question. On 7 to 9, you take intel, and I'll answer your question, but you don't get a follow-up. So go ahead and mark 1 intel, and you're asking, where would I find their gear? And just so it makes sense in my head, you know that Sindar is being holed up most likely by some Kitsune Media Group folks. So to me, you probably need to know where they are in order to mess their gear. So is that fair?
Yeah, where would yes.
Cool. Okay. So then I have the answer. Yeah. So there is an estate which is located, if you take a look at Karania City at the quarters, it's an estate that's located on the northern part of Corp quarters, actually at the edges of the city and the more posh operations where executives live. And that means that the gear will be good, and the security will also be pretty good. The way that you find that out, I think let's see, Claith, would you work through corporate contacts, or would you troll a lot of the pop fees? Because Sindar is a pop star, as it were. Indie, right? Leap Hop not really, or Leap Jump not really that big yet. It's underground, but all the cool kids know what's underground anyway. So which way do you think you're going? Old corporate contacts or skimming the feeds?
I was thinking skimming feeds in terms of like, he knows, maybe has a list of like, oh, here's, like Secret Security, rents a garage or whatever. And he, knows some of the shell names that are used for that and trawls through and narrows down a list of like, okay, this corporation is renting out something here. So it must be this estate that.
Cool. Yeah, and the couple things that you find out is that there is a group of Sindites, as they call themselves. That's their fan name for themselves, the Sindites. And you actually find out from them, yeah, oh yeah, Sindar's over here, and we saw her going through in a Corp speeder over this way, and you were able to find where in the Corp quarter you believe she is. You also, though, found that there were some trolls that hopped on the boards with those poor Sindites, and those trolls you track back and find that some of them are evolved. They're dissing on, we don't need a Sethys music trying to bring back old Clone Wars era stuff. She doesn't even understand the music. And of course, the Sindites are trying to dox those folks and get back at them. So, yeah. Wick. Oh, does that seem fair? Did you get what
yes,
you wanted?
That was I got what I was looking for. Thank you.
All right, Wick.
So we now know where the building that Sindar is in, ostensibly. Okay.
Yes.
Which is an executive high-rise in the northern edge of the Corp quarter, right? Because it's cyberpunk, so everything's in big, tall buildings and things. Like, yeah. An estate, you said, didn't you? An estate. So maybe
yes, it's a private estate that is owned by Wave Erotica. Wave Erotica is a subsidiary of Kitsune Media Group, and I'll drop that in chat eventually. There we go.
Erotica, not erotica. Okay.
Yes, that's why I wanted to drop it in text.
Well, very different.
Like,
very different.
Erotica, not erotica. Erotica.
Wick is disappointed.
A whole different kind of game.
Yeah, it would be entirely. I was thinking, where was this going to go? Okay, so we know where she is. That's our major one. I think one of our other ones is we need to find out where the Omni Millennial tour album is. And I am going to go to, I wish there was like a Star Wars page on the fantasy name generators where you could just see there is actually, where you can see all the different name generators, right?
Don John has a pretty cool name generator, but it also is broken up by like species.
Yeah, it'd be great if it just had like a generate a random species and thingy, right? But the Corps are not human first, are they? That's really, like, the evolved are, but Zinji's empire is slightly more cosmopolitan than the.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. So I am going to say that I know. I'm going to declare a contact.
Ooh.
Murty Durr, who is a Kitsune exec, who I basically, the stuff that we steal, I sell it back to her, and she pockets the difference in a budget. So, despite us essentially being enemies, it really lines her pocket. It really helps her pockets out when we steal from other areas of Kitsune, and she gets to, oh well, I managed to source my equipment for half the price for twice the quality. Luckily, no one's looked at the
Except, I
books.
mean, is it really twice the quality? It is coming from Jawas, so is it
Well,
really?
but it's the stuff that we stole off Kitsune.
Exactly.
So it's just as good.
All right. When you
It's
need to
twice
call
the
in a
quality of
favor
anything
from
they
a
got
new
left over.
contact, name, describe the contact, say why the contact owes you. We got that. Or why
Mhm.
you owe them a favor. The MC will ask you some questions about the contact and your relationship. Add the contact to your list. You can only declare a contact once per mission, although certain playbook allow to gain contacts in similar ways. And I think you mentioned a name. Did you drop that on NPCs or?
I've just added it into my contacts at the moment. I will, however,
cool.
when we are when you're
Yeah,
done with
when
my
we're
scene, I
done.
will dump it into the NPCs and we'll add it
Oh,
out.
there we go. Kitsune exec. What species is
Oh,
Mark?
she's a Solonian, which
Nice.
are a tall, furry, ferret-like beings with retractable claws, a flexible spine, and the ability to see in the dark. They come from the Corellia system.
That's right. Oh, that's cool. So she's got a whole lot of native stuff going on. That is some interesting bits. They are. I remember them as short, but
No, they're very
maybe
tall, I
they're
believe.
very tall. Okay.
Yeah, because I think in the Rogue Squadron books, Gavin Darklighter goes out with one of them.
Oh,
Or
neat.
Corran Horn, maybe. Corran Horn. Gavin Darklighter goes out with a Bothan. Corran Horn goes out with a Solonian for a while.
Goes out with? Oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
That's
I
great.
mean, don't think about interspecies relationships too much in Star Wars, but
Oh,
yeah.
it's all good. It's fine.
Yeah.
I love how open-minded the world is. That is fantastic. Yeah, they look like ferret folk for some reason to me.
Yeah, I always kind of imagined as big, like platypuses almost, but I think they're like ferrets. They've actually had some artwork done now, so it's not the 90s where I had to use my imagination for everything.
God, imagination. We have the internet, friend.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that pic that Braid has shared with us is amazing. Are they fighting or are they rocking out? I think they're fighting.
Really can't tell.
But
I like to think that they're both rocking out to some leap jump music, is what I like to think. The Han Solo has hung out with Solonians. Boy, they are big. Goodness gracious. All right, fantastic. So I imagine this Solonian, because of the light sensitivity, she's had some she has, oh shoot, sorry, I'm going to ghost in the shell it, but Bateau, how he has those like little tiny cyber eyes. She has cyber eye replacements so that she's not light sensitive anymore. And she's an exec, so she's all up in Corp clothes. Where is it that you guys meet to trade off stuff?
I think it is because she's an exec, so she wouldn't really go anywhere too low down, but basically I drive our little skiff full of stuff over to like the waste loading bay, basically.
Okay.
Of at the back of the trash compactor at the bottom of her office, essentially. And she then gets a bunch of grunts to go and take these crates that were mistakenly put into the waste and bring them back into the general stores area. And then she's like, oh, look what I found in my budget. All of this stuff.
That's great. I am a huge fan of this. And as is she. She definitely benefits from this. That's great. Cool. So you have declared this contact.
Yes. And I think then would it be a hit the streets to ask her about the Omni Millennial tour album that I know is coming out, that she must be jealous of whoever's got the rights to that. Where would that be found or stored? Or it would really whoever gets that out to market without it being pirated beforehand is really going to have a leg up on the cutthroat world of the corporate intrigue, right? Like
you are not kidding, boy. That is an interesting ask. I want to see you hit the streets. Roll with style.
I have a +2 in style.
I love that you're such a stylish little Jawa.
All Jawas are stylish. Everyone wants to be Jawa. That's a 7.
7.
So I choose 2. I think my request is going to cost me extra. And I think it's going to attract some unwanted attention, complications, or consequences.
You're not going to help your contact. That's the story stuff.
That's true. I just don't want to take up too much time on the from the mission. I want to see what a mission goes like before we start to get into side quests and things like that.
That's reasonable.
I think that I have to give her a discount on the last bit of it. So if I spend 1 cred, if I look at that, it says 1 cred gets you useful information from a contact.
I think that's fair. That's a really
I think
good...
essentially that's me not making as much money from her, you know.
Mhm.
I let the last of the holo projectors go that we stole for you know, far less than they were.
Those are so flash. I am very happy. Yes.
But for you, no, I can do a special price.
Yes, I want this. The Millennial has not been completed, you see. Wave Erratica has been forcing that poor Sephi girl to continue remixing and re-recording. It's not even done. I think they plan to sit on her and make her make this thing all the way up until the release. She must be going 6 ways of Sunday about it. Her head all aflutter, never good enough, always re-recording. I've happened to sampled a few of the tracks, and I think they're quite good, but not good enough. Not good enough.
Well, just needs the right producer.
And he beams and waves his hands, you know, like
We were really good ear for music.
She lets off this little purring laugh in response to that. You do have a lot of style.
So anyway, if we, you know, whoever has Cinder has the Omni Millennial album then.
Yes. I'm sure that if you grabbed one of the copies that have been compiled recently, then that would work just fine. Time stamping, of course. Everyone would assume it's the official one.
We would never sell bootleg.
spits on the floor.
And there is a production studio at Wave Erratica. That's why they've kept her locked up there for so long.
Well, look at you, so clever. Well, I can't really say such things.
Well,
not the Wave Erotica and I, we execs there are a little, subsidiaries. You know how it is.
Provincial, yes.
Provincial. I love it.
Well,
an excellent vocabulary.
Excellent many things. Soon to have excellent audio recording equipment for you to buy, maybe.
Yes, I like that. Yes. Oh, are we engaging? I know you've got some selling moves. Are we engaging?
No.
Okay.
No.
Right. Just checking.
I'm just fictionally setting it up that if Dana happens to steal some stuff with her fine gear, that one that she acquires as she breaks into places, perhaps some of that might be, fancy synthesizers or whatever, right? Like whatever Star Warsy stuff that we might steal from Wave and kit out the rival company with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Patented auto tuning, that kind of thing. Yes.
Yeah. But I think that's plenty. We know now that the Millennial tour is not anywhere else, that there are you can get a copy of one of the things that we'll want to steal when we go there is a copy of the existing
grab it off their
album.
data drives.
And it will be worth even more because they will never release the finished version of the Omni Millennial tour because we will essentially liberate her beforehand, right? So,
Exactly.
you know, we can call it the Omni Millennial Freedom Edition kind of thing.
Exactly.
You know,
I just, it's interesting. You were engaging I know people as a move, but there's a peripheral move called declare a contact, and the two are very
it's
similar.
because you can only declare a contact once a session. So by
Right.
having the I know people, I can declare 2 contacts a session.
I see. So you choose a second contact. Okay, cool.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, which one were you doing? It sounded like we were doing declare a contact right there. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Because you didn't roll. So
I didn't roll. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I
Okay,
figure
cool.
the way I will play it is that one's got no cost associated with it, right?
Right. That was the back pocket, save your butt kind of contact.
Yeah. Yeah. I know people will be the if I do it twice in a session.
Okay.
You know, we'll go
Absolutely
first,
cool.
second. Does that make sense? Like, as
Yeah, it makes
yeah.
sense. I just wanted to clarify because I realized, I think there was I was intuiting you were doing the basic move, but it looked like you had a move that had a roll to it.
Oh
so.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the extra move only has downsides, not positives. So, you know, like a 10+ on the I know people is the same as having just declaring a contact essentially.
True.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
So you get
End of
your
mechanical talk. Yeah.
you chose, dear God, chose 2 from the list below. And the 10+ would have given you intel or gear, but you got a 7 tonight.
Yeah.
All right.
And the cost extra is the credit that I spent.
Right? Yeah, it costs you credit.
And obviously the unwanted attention complications or consequences is in your hands. Yeah.
Yes, it is indeed. I think what I'm going to do with that is go ahead and just increase our legwork phase by 1 tick. You're now at 1800 for a legwork phase. 2400 at midnight is when things go pear-shaped.
Also affects our payout at the end, just for us all to remember. Sorry for advancing that clock, guys.
It's okay. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't tell you it's okay. They should tell you that it's okay. They're not saying it. They don't think it's okay. Anyway, Danazor, you come back in. You see that Claith is on his deck, or I'm not sure how you were accessing information, Claith, but if you have some kind of little data pad or an actual computer you carry around, or if you were just on your comm unit talking to people, and then Wick was in I guess maybe there's the chip off cantina has a small hollow projector room where you got to have your cool conversation with your Selenian contact.
I mean, I would just say I left, right?
Okay, you left.
Yeah, I prefer
Wick's gone
time
in the wind.
Okay, that makes sense.
So Danazor, what do you want to do?
Yeah, I think if I've gotten word that it's wave erratica. See, you got me set
We're
on the
all gonna
wrong
do it. I should have
path.
changed it. I had an instinct I should change this name, but I didn't. Cool.
It's good.
I'm assuming that whenever I'm sorry, Sherry, to talk over you. I just wanted to declare. In my assumption, when one person gets information in Legwork phase, everyone gets it.
Sounds
Cool.
good. So I think I'm going to do an assess on that setup, just because if we're going to go in, I need to know more about it. So it says that when I closely study a person, place, or situation. So, and I'm going to roll edge. Well, I will roll edge as soon as the cat stops trying to fight me away from my mouse. Okay, you are in a mood, cat.
So how are you studying it? Is this a thing you're doing from? Exactly. There's no reason to keep secrets. That was a chat thing. Do you imagine that Dana's going to Corp quarter and scoping this place out, or is Dana trying to use some droids, drones, satellite imagery? How do you want to scope it out? I'm not saying you can't. I just want to understand the context. That's all.
Yeah, I think that it's just set that you would do any kind of checks that exist, on the system or stuff, and that this is sort of that physical check around things. And of course, she's got her gear that'll give her the basics of, any signal that makes it out of the state. So, so she has those things.
You're going on walkabout.
She's physically, yeah, exactly. So,
does Dana have a speeder? Yeah, got a flashy speeder. Oh, that's Wix. Sorry.
Yeah, no,
Wick has
no.
a flashy speeder. I love
She
that.
doesn't have anything like that. She pretty much gets across the city just by, waiting at an
Public transit?
intersection. Oh, no, she can't afford that. No, she waits at an intersection, and when something comes to a stop, she steps onto the, bumper in the back and rides along on any vehicle that has like something she can catch a hold of. And she just does that because things move slow enough that mostly it's okay. Every once in a while, someone tries to shake her, and but other than that,
It's amazing.
so
You do the Back to the Future 2 thing. I love
Yeah.
it. It's great.
okay. So I guess I'm rolling with edge, so that's a +1.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to roll 2d6 and I'll add +1 to the result, and I hope I roll better than usual. Oh no, I roll a
goodness.
5. Oh, of course I do. So the dices.
Roll a 5.
No, and we don't have a reroll built in, like,
If
right?
you don't have a reroll built in, you can ask for help. But
Mm.
unfortunately,
At 5,
help-
there's nothing no one can do.
yeah, because what they
Yep.
can do is give you a +1, which you
Oh, I get an XP, so I'm just rocketing forward. in my
is
thing.
there XP on a fail? Yeah.
I don't know.
There's XP.
Yeah,
on a
there
fail.
is.
Yeah, there is XP on a fail.
Just, I'm happy with taking misses all the time, but with the intel, it's +1 forward. So I suppose, strictly speaking, it should be said before you roll the dice if you want to spend intel for the +1.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was talking
Oh.
about help or interfere.
No, I know, but if Jerry spent the +1, then one of us could push it to a 7, because then it would be a 6 that we could then modify to a 7 with the help thing.
Oh,
I'm just going through the mechanic because I.
Yeah. No, it's
Okay.
good. It's good. It's a good point. It's a really good point. I'm glad you brought that up.
But it depends on whether or not we can declare intel after the roll, or we have to do it beforehand.
didn't, so I think I missed. So,
Yeah.
Well, so I don't know. I have mixed feelings. I always like the idea of doing it after the roll because it's a mechanic you earn through another roll, and it just seems weird to always have to burn it, even if you didn't need it or not, kind of deal. I love the idea that intel pushes you over the edge and that you only use it when you have to. But are there other opinions? Do you guys feel like intel should be declared before the roll for any reason?
I'll never remember it if we have to do it before. So
Okay. So you could possibly get to a 7 here.
okay. So
Is that what you
anyone
guys
is-
want to do?
yes, I would. If
You
we
would
do,
take intel plus someone successfully rolling plus links to help.
I think it's a good spend. Be like the intel that maybe some additional intel that Clayth had picked up, when initially researching the place, and then I can roll plus
So
links to.
since we're already using the system to its best effect, you should roll before you spend the intel, because if you fail the roll, then
yeah,
And
true.
who cares?
Thank you,
Well,
Rich.
you're welcome. Might as well. If we're going to do it, let's do it.
9, I think so. +1 with data.
Nice. Okay, so that will push you up. So if you expend of your how many
We had 2. We have 1.
you're down to
now.
1, you already taken care of it. Awesome. That pushes you to a 7.
Oop.
You squeak back from getting in some serious trouble. That is
Okay.
nice. So you gain 1 hold. In the ensuing action, you can spend that hold at any time to ask the MC a question from the list below.
Okay.
So I'm imagining that you have some kind of like hoverboard type thing that you use occasionally to grab so you scoot off of somebody's speeder bumper and you slide down the block, head down. These estates, they actually have white noise generators so that you can't hear the speeders that are zipping by. There are air purifiers here, so the smell of fuel expenditure is not tainting the air. There are these green things called bushes. They like grow on their own, and they seem to be
They're like
trimmed into like
weeds.
they're like
but not?
weeds, but prettier weeds. Like they're fulsome and have leaves on them. It's very, very odd. You hear birds chirping, and it's not on some kind of soundtrack because it seems to be actual living things in this particular estate. Lots of Duracrete. The estate itself is quite beautiful. It has columns. Maybe those columns are supposed to support, but like Duracrete designs don't work this way. This seems to be just pretty. But there are a number of folks who are outside, very obviously security folk. They're wearing heavy coats to hide blaster pistols. They do not look like the refined folks that would exist in such a paradise that maybe you've seen on Hollows in the past. And you don't see Sendar. She's not outside in this grassy area.
Grass, man. I wonder what it feels like.
You hear like a sploosh, and you look over, and there's someone has a bunch of water, and it's not being used to drink. They're actually they're not even bathing. They're swimming around in it like a fish. It's very weird.
It's giving me a headache. All right then. And then I have these questions that I can ask, which I could ask now, right?
Sure. It's a hold. So you can do some other things and then ask a question. You can ask the question now and then act on those answers. You'll get a +1 forward on acting on any answer that you obtain.
What do I notice despite an effort to conceal it? This is just so if there's things to be had, I can pinpoint that.
What you notice is that this security team, which is, you count 6 of them, there's probably more inside. They're all in constant communication with someone else, not each other. Like you just keep them occasionally doing the Avengers movie thing of like touching to their ear. You know, they're constantly like, and then having low conversations. It appears that like they don't have a mic coming out, so they must have some kind of jawbone enhancement implant thing to where they can talk, and they have to actually activate it by touching their ear. Plus, also, it's a neat little indicator that tells the audience that you're talking to someone else.
They're not supposed to, but they all do it sort of
They all do it.
reflexively. Yeah,
Exactly.
just because it feels a little bit. Okay, sure. That's probably our security chief.
Yeah, these guys are the
Chief
security team, and the thing they're trying to conceal is that there's one person who's in constant contact with each of them. And you can see it's like clockwork. It's like this person just works like 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, check in.
Interesting. All right.
Cool. Shall we cut away from you in this idyllic, weird green place?
Yes.
All right.
Where I don't blend in at all. Very subtle. Me.
That's true. You look awfully Flash. I think there's a jogger who like comes up with a small animal that is on a chain to it, and he stops when he sees you just hanging out and watching stuff. You hear he's about to ask you, "Are you okay?" And then we cut away.
Yeah, okay.
I think Wick, you're having to make a delivery of the stuff that you had arranged with your Salonian friend. So Squackus and Weewa are unloading some of the crates of that cool bit of Flash junk. What are you doing to move further in the legwork phase? Is there any other information you'd like to try to gather or preparation you'd like to do?
Yeah, I would like. We know it's Waveratica, and Waveratica is, much like Mertidor, has, outsources a lot of work, technical work, contractors, like equipment, all of that thing. It's an estate, right? So it has employees who don't live on the estate. It has servants. It has all that kind of thing. People who might be in the need of, secondhand goods for their less than salubrious lifestyles. So I would like to research by the word on the street as I go about my deliveries and my things, and I ask them about Wave Erratica and people who might have done that sort of thing. So when I research by listening to or recalling street level gossip, I can take an additional intel, even on a miss. And I think that from what we've described, Wave Erratica is it's very nice, you know, for the people of Corania City. So anybody who's been there is like green and like I've only seen that on the hollows, you know, so weird kind of stuff. And you know, Wick is obviously like, yes, you know, technology or desert, those are the two best states of the universe. Anything else in between is unnatural and an abomination. So I would like to roll research, if that works.
That works for me. Let's have you do some research.
I roll plus mind. I have 1. And that's an 11. Take another intel. If you could update that for me, please, Brandon. We have another intel in the pool. And I would like to ask, how secure is Wave Erratica?
How secure is Wave Erratica?
Like the premises, you know, because like these are people who've had to go in through the servants' entrances and things, not through the main gates.
So you find there is a forum. It's kind of like, I think is it Glassdoor? I think that website where people go and anonymously complain and bitch about working for particular places. There's something like that. It's a forum where for servants of various areas in the Corp quarter to dish.
Yeah.
And they're doing it anonymously. But what you pick up is that Wave Erratica, there was a data steal about 2 months ago for some things just prior to release. And it ended up getting a few of the corp's deathed. They weren't actually killed because they're corporate executives, but they were basically drugged and kicked to the curb. Now they're with lower ranking subsidiaries. They've been moved off. And one of the direct results of that is that they brought on a corporate basically a security consultant who the rumors are is a cyborg by the name of Tanner Sivron. And he has tightened everything up. Everything is clockwork. There are passive intrusion detectors across the estate, and that the security team was all completely replaced. Those guys are probably dead with his men.
Great. And I get a second question with a 10 plus, another follow-up question from the list as well. I'm tempted to say, where would I find a good way, a means to access Wave Erratica? But I wonder if that might be stretching it a bit to say so. You know, like the follow-up question being like, well, what's the gap? What is the gap that Tanner Sivron doesn't even know? Perhaps it's like the water feature that goes through this, you know, like the landscapers who worked on Wave Erratica. This sort of place is alien to Tanner as well, right? So like he can only protect against what he actually knows about. And
you can ask that question. Yep,
yeah,
totally.
Okay. So where would I find you know, the blind spot in Tanner Sivron's security?
So he would not have a blind spot if not for a particular executive who calls that place his home. There is a pathway for him to get in and out. Mistresses. So Tanner is not allowed to there's a particular garage and entry and corridor he can't touch. Hands off. And that is the best place to have a smoke break, according to Servant 115X.
Who's more machine than man, I think. You know, pretty much nothing but a pair of lungs and a mouth.
That is exactly what he is now.
Nice. Cool. And I think you know, with all of that, I will poodle back in my speeder, which I decided is it's like a van style speeder. You know, it has like place for us to hold stuff. And what makes it flashy is that CNOC put a big holo display on the outside of the side of the speeder, advertising the Patiga clans, you know, junk repair, everything, you know, like the list of services basically like scrolls off and then it scrolls back down again, because we just do everything for everybody, you know.
I love that you in your perception, that is what looks flashy and nice. And
well, because it's flashy in the sense of
it's
definitely
it's
eye-catching.
literally flashy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
It flashes on and off. Look, I can change the speed.
That's awesome. Fantastic. Let's cut back to Clave. And I'd like to, like, this scene, where are you? You're not in Chip Off Cantina. Let's get you out. Let's get you moving. And what do you want to do next within your legwork phase?
Yeah, so we determined that there's a potential point of entry. I guess. Oh no. I think I'm trying to find out maybe any other their weaknesses in the security, or just extra information about the head of this head of security.
Okay.
So that would be, I think that would be corporate contacts.
That feels right to me.
Knows
Yeah.
something about him. So I'm maybe at a meeting in a cafe in the corporate quarter with.
Ooh, you guys are getting closer and closer. I love this. So in corporate quarter, it is very clean here.
With Prindy Arctis.
Ooh, we're declaring a contact?
Yeah, declare contact.
Awesome.
And she is a security chief for another corporation that I've had contact with before. Ping. She works for Ping now.
Oh, nice. Security chief for Ping. Love it. Do you have an idea of what species she might be? Just so I have that in my headspace.
You know what? Human. That's the name I rolled. So
okay, cool. All right.
She's got all kinds of cyber mods.
Nice. I like that a lot. You head into this, you said cafe, coffee shop? What are you thinking?
Yeah. Like it's an upscale coffee shop.
Upscale coffee shop that's clean lines. There are all the data ports along areas where people can sit and work. And there are folks that have goggles on and they work out of the coffee shop, and it's quiet. It's a nice quiet place. She will come in, she sets down a little white noise generator when the two of you sit down to talk, and she says, so Clave, are you looking for work?
I might have some work, but there is a potential roadblock there, name of Tanner Civeron. Wondering if you might know anything about it.
Yeah, Tanner. I know him. But it sounds like you're trying to get a bit of information. So let's take a look. Are you hitting the streets here, I think? Let's have you roll plus style.
It's a straight roll. 9.
9. All right, on a 7 to 9, choose 2 from the list below. On a 7, you get what you want. You're looking for information on Tanner. But you need to choose 2 from the list below. Do you see that on row 11?
Yes, I
The basic
do.
moves. All right.
Yeah, it is going to cost me extra. Actually, no, it's gonna. I'm gonna go with unwanted attention again because I think the information she requests maybe puts up some pings, and it's also she's also gonna need me to help her out with something.
Nice.
She thought I might be looking for work. I may have to do some work later.
Yeah.
Or do something additional maybe in the work we're doing.
I like that. Listen, Tanner is he's a cyborg. He comes from a military project, an imperial military project that was cut off when Palpatine died. Came here, started working for the Corps immediately. He has a sister. She doesn't seem to be as mixed up into things as he is. I'm pretty sure he has some sway with Zinj. You really do not want to make him mad.
That might be hard. Good to know.
I've heard that if Wave Erratica has any more slip-ups that aren't his fault, Wave Erratica may be wiped out. So they're pretty desperate. I hope you aren't acting against them. That's... When people are backed into a corner and feel like they have nowhere else to go, they are the most dangerous, as you know.
Well, I'm sure we're not going to be doing anything that's not Severon's fault.
Hope so. I have some work I might be interested in farming out to you, Claith, and since we're such good friends. Can I count on you?
Yeah, what's the job?
Then we will slide out of that, and that job may be one of our future sessions. Cool. All right, so you got a bit of information, maybe not information that you super wanted. As the unwanted attention increased your legwork phase, you are currently at 2100 o'clock, friends. So
What does that mean?
that means two things. It means that security, so when we cut back to data, you see that there is more security that is coming towards the area. Kitsune, at this point, yeah, there are rumors of significant interest in Sindar reaching Wave Erratica. And it actually changes where your action phase starts at 1500 because word is getting out.
Okay. Don't think we have enough. I don't know.
I think we have enough to.
You think we do? All right.
Yeah, I think we have enough to give it a try. It just depends on our approach, right? Like,
Yes.
and it also, this would be our last chance to maybe buy some gear or something. I mean, we can just declare gear, can't we, actually? Because we've got gear in hold, essentially, now. Like, we've got 2 gear, right, Brandon? Or 1?
One, unless somebody else has moved.
1. We've got 1 gear, yeah.
We're up to 2 intel.
Yeah. So we can easily, anything that we need, we can just say, spend a gear and we have it, right? If I understand that move right.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
And intel is like when we're on that and it's oh, there's some security coming down the hallway. Oh, I know there's some vents over here. That sort of thing.
Mhm.
Right. Okay.
And I didn't direct you guys to it, but if you wanted to at least what does Tanner look like? Tanner exists on row 26 of the NPCs, and there's also a picture of his sister Azalea.
Well, I was going to ask about his links, but I see that he is an underworld member. So not a Corp. So he runs a tight ship despite being a member of the criminal underworld. Because they are clean and efficient pros who only care about the bottom line. As it says.
So we want to like hold his sister hostage. I guess there's not a whole lot more we can do.
No, I think not. Maybe best if we just never attract Tanner's attention at all.
Yes. So I think it is the Mistress entrance is what I heard, which means that it will not be Tanner's fault if we go through that way.
Very wise.
Yes. So essentially that's making it, I guess we just have to get what the MO is for a mistress arrival so that, or tag along with it, whatever it is. So in theory.
Well, we don't need to pretend to be mistresses or anything.
Yes. Well, I hope not.
Yeah.
I think Wick could pull it off, guys.
Hey, Wick could definitely
I think
pull it
so
off.
too.
Yeah.
See.
But so I guess the question is, so we have conduct an operation is when you lead a planned and coordinated operation, describe your plan and who it is carrying it out, and then roll.
Yeah,
Edge,
that's if we want
right?
to fast forward through things. And
I see. So that's not a thing that you necessarily have to do.
yeah, we can drop into the moment by moment and do that if that's what folks are interested in, or we can go with the more like broad approach, engage that move as well.
I'm interested in both. I see the initial roles I see in this is definitely a dinosaur,
like an engagement role,
you know.
Mhm.
So like, but I'm happy with both. So defer to the table in terms of minute by minute, or we try the edge engagement role type thing.
Yeah, I have, I can get in. My trick is if I can get in, I can bring you with me. So,
Yeah, so that would be the first role if we did it moment by moment, I think. Whereas if we do the conduct an operation, it may be the first role, or it might be something else depending on how we frame that conduct an operation thing. It could be the shoot our way out of the conduct an operation, right? Like
let's what I'd like to do is come to a decision point for this. Do we want to do engagement role, or do we want to actually like slide into it moment by moment, and then we're going to take our bio break? So just don't hit the table. Let's just determine what's the engagement level. Do we want to do a via move? It sounds like Sherry, you'd like to do some cool infiltrating stuff, and I don't want to rob that of you. So maybe
no,
that's
I
where we
mean,
go.
yeah, I don't know that I have any value if we don't, but then
Exactly.
that's-
So you of course have value, Sherry, but let's have you. What we'll do when we come back from break is we'll have you do your covert entry because you're real good at that. Awesome.
I'd also say that this is a session where we've got the time to do it. We've got half the session left and one less player, so it goes faster. So
It does.
you know, yeah, I don't want to start anything big without Alan here anyways. So you know. Like,
Awesome.
yeah.
All right, let's take our bio break. All right. So you guys were interested in moving from the legwork phase to the action phase. You were talking about infiltrating, and Dana, you are going to be doing that, but there's a little something that's going to happen just before Dana hits that role, and it's Claith, are you Overwatch for Dana's infiltration? Like, you guys are you're about to launch the mission. Do you imagine Claith is there in the Corp quarter?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay. And then Wick, where are you and your flash speeder?
I mean, I think the flash speeder is nowhere to be seen because it is too flashy.
That's
Instead,
true.
we have Sock. Is that his name? Alan's character. I haven't said it
Socks.
all.
Yeah.
Socks. Socks is clearly on standby somewhere. But where Wick is I think Wick is, you know, in whatever bush that Dana has just left. You know, like it's sort of like Dana does the skilled infiltration and then turns around and, you know, makes a gesture or something, and then Wick does a bumble across erratically, sort of following her footsteps kind of thing.
Nice. Do you
Maybe
imagine
holding loads of stuff, you know?
Okay, so
kind of junk, yeah.
that's very good. That's good Jawa right there. I like
Yeah.
it. Do you imagine Claith, because Brandon, I think you talked about Claith being a bit of an Overwatch strategic type. Is Claith Overwatch here, or is Claith part of the infiltration in case things go awry inside?
I would put him like between the ride and the entrance. So
Okay.
like maybe able to get inside if they're like, oh, we're escaping and things are going bad. Leave the actual infiltration to those two, and then can relay information about any security weirdness that's going on outside and cover the exit retreat.
Awesome,
because
you
need
get
to keep your exit open, don't you? For sure. Like, yeah.
So the good news is that you're going to get to be able to do your job like right now, Claith. You receive a call over comms. It is from your friend of mine, Crindy Arkith. I found a cyber pick and threw it in the corpse line, row 34. If you don't like that pick, then just throw in a different one. That's totally cool. It just helps me to have a pick for things. She's reaching out to you. It's marked urgent. What do you do?
Like in setting my gear up on a terrace, like, yes.
Claith, I'm not at liberty to talk about anything we've discussed before, but I wanted to let you know that Kitsune Media Group has decided to call in some extra muscle. There is a hitter by the name of Grimm who is working for Kitsune, and I think that he will be involved in matters that interest you. Be careful. You have heard of what Wick thinks of Grimm.
Okay, yes, right. This is that guy.
This is the guy. Ratataki are a pure humanoid. They are from a barbaric, warlike planet. They're a species that was introduced for the Old Republic video game. They are Zabraks without the horns. They are very brutal. And this guy's cybered up. Grimm is bad news, but in a very different way than perhaps Tanner Sivron is bad news. So let's go ahead and have Danazor do some cool infiltration.
Yep. So I think it's pretty easy to get the basics of what the whole entry to the the garage stuff is.
Mhm.
So essentially her MO is she's going in as the maid of one of the mistresses. And so she kind of like, gets dropped off in the alley, has a card, apparently has a card, has a thing of clearly change of clothes and some, other things that she's taking in. And so that is sort of the thing so that anyone just observing
cool.
sees standard.
That's the
thing,
MO.
right?
That's the setup. I love it.
Exactly.
Let's have you
And
roll.
it
plus-
explains why she may not know exactly where everything is, because she's like, clearly,
Oh,
just
I'm
been
not the
sent to do
mistress.
this. Yeah.
I'm the very attractive maid of the entrance of the
Exactly,
mistress.
Exactly.
All right.
So, okay. So now let's
Roll
see here.
plus
And then,
cool because you're doing the
Okay.
covert entry move, right? You
My-
get some hold from that as long as you're successful.
yeah, and I have a +2. So I'm rolling 2d6 and I'll add 2.
Okay.
And I managed to roll 2 ones. I am giving up on all rolling from here on out.
So this is why you like belonging outside belonging, right?
Yeah. I would rather,
Uh,
yes.
Awesome. So here's what happens.
Actually, it's why I like blades too. So
Oh, it's true. It's true. You could resist whatever is about to
Yeah.
come your way.
exactly.
You still get
Part
to
of it.
resist it. You get to resist it. It's all cool.
with my hit points. So that's what I
Yeah,
want to do.
with your meat. So here's what happens. Wick, you and I assume the rest, like we've got 3 Jawa following
Mhm.
Danazor carrying crates. And
No, I don't think.
oh, Wick just
I
goes
don't think
along.
s-
Goes it
I
along?
think that Seesaw, Weewa, and I forget the name of the other guy, go manage the fort. Manage the business. I
Oh,
don't want to be
they're
rolling.
there.
I don't want to be rolling deep everywhere we go.
Not rolling 3 deep everywhere you go.
No. Although we will do the 3 Jawas in a trench coat before the end of the series. I'm
Oh,
sure.
please. You cannot promise that to me and not give it to me. I demand
If we ever do an infiltration that requires us to pretend to be someone, that is definitely how Wick is going to disguise the fact that he's a Jawa.
Squackus and Weewa are off doing biz. You are following Wick along with Danazor. Dana, you head through the garage entrance. There's some really, really slick speeders. Like Socks, if he were here, would drool over these things. They're gorgeous. One of them's gleaming silver. Another one is this perfect, pristine white. And they're tricked out. Like they definitely will go above any governors or limits. These things will go very fast. You swipe the card and you're heading down the corridor that is the private corridor, the untouched, the no security cams. Wick follows you in. Everything feels good. It smells so clean. Like it's the kind of clean that the bleach is not there to taint the lack of smell. It's weird.
This whole place is uncanny.
And it's this slightly rounded corridor, and it's that stark white from, if you remember New Hope, the hallways that the rebels are trying to defend from Darth Vader, like that stark white with the weird kind of 70s mod squares along things, but no pictures of anyone. It's all clean and pristine, and it's feeling good. You see that there's a door at the end of the corridor, and then from the ceiling drops like just hard, just doesn't even care about any of the subtlety or stealth or agility that you would, just this big thick wad of cybered up meat that is a Ratataki by the name of Grim just drops right into the corridor. He stands 6.5 feet tall. He's broad enough to where you imagine that even though this is a very wide corridor, you'd almost have to run around him, which maybe is the intention. And he cracks his neck a couple times and says, "Who are you?"
And she sort of stops and she goes, I am bringing the change of clothes.
And he reaches out and he grabs your face and he throws you about 4 meters behind him. And now he's standing in front of you, Wick. By the way, Dan, he didn't crush you. He just kind of used your head like a ball to pitch behind him. So you slam in and hit the ground. But really now he's standing over you, Wick. And boy, does he stand over you because he's just a little guy.
Yeah, and Ricky's staring up, and he's rooting around in that back. He pushes that back, and he's like, and he's like,
You, I knew you would be here.
you'll pay for what you did. And I am going to spend gear and pull out. I think I will pull out a automatic shotgun.
Oh, you got a scattergun?
I got
Awesome.
a scattergun, yeah. Which, yeah, like, and then it like pulls and then pulls two parts out and then, and I'm just gonna shoot because like, and I'm gonna
Mix it up.
Tiga.
as I go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roll plus meat because you are using violence against an armed force to seize control of objective. I guess the
Yes.
objective is what's your objective here?
To seize control of an objective. I suppose it's to kill him. Is that too far an objective? I'm not sure how combat works.
Yeah, that's the whole like seize by force question. I think the objective is to continue on the mission without him stopping you. Maybe
Take
I
him
don't
out.
know.
Take him out.
All right,
Um,
take him out.
you know,
That works.
uh,
Works for me. It feels a lot more
Death
wit
to be
motivated too.
yeah, well, I mean, blow him away is, this is the goon who killed my clanmate.
I know it is, and you
Yeah.
just roll plus meat, which is flat for you. Let's see
is.
it.
But I knew he was going to be here, which is why I had the gear. So that would be me spending the intel. But we have said that we can do that after the roll, so I'll see if it works.
Yep. Exactly. Let's see if it works.
I spend the intel.
Oh, cool. So yeah, you're gonna spin. Is that it? Is you guys are intelless now at this point? I think, or
Got
you have
one
one
left.
left. One
Yeah.
left.
No
That
gear,
is-
one intel.
Okay. On a 7 to 9, 7 plus, you achieve your objective. You shoot him full in the chest. I don't think that kills him if you're okay with that. That's why I was worried about this subjective thing. But I think you've definitely put a serious hurting. He did not expect you to whip out a scattergun. He expected you had quieter, more subtle things that you'd try to shoot him with. You get to choose 2 on 7 to 9. You make too much noise, you take harm as established by the fiction, an ally takes harm as established by the fiction, or something of value breaks.
I mean, it's got to be make too much noise, right? Like that seems the most fitting fictional option for all of it. The mission clock advances as this hitter being here indicates that it was already going to advance anyways. And I think that I take harm as established by the fiction, which, if it's okay to narrate it that way, I think it is the blast of this shotgun throws Wick crashing back through, like, a water cooler or something that's, like a vending machine or something that's in this corridor, and it just blows him and
I think you get slammed back into a wall. I don't think they're like it's a clean, pristine. I don't think they're vending machines here, but you slam into
slam into a wall, ripping off the conduit beneath, kind of thing.
There
So
we go.
sparks fly
I like
and
that.
everything,
That sounds
Yeah.
awesome. I like that.
How much harm would that be, do you think?
That is a great question. I thought that there was a taking harm. Yeah, when you suffer harm, lower the harm suffered by the level of your armor, fill in a number of segments on your harm clock. Yep. And then there is a move. Okay. So the harm that he would do to you, although, you guys are mixing it up. So he gets his hand on you, and you would be taking, because of his strength, a total of you would take a total of 2 harm because it's just
I have
using hands.
Armored coat.
Okay.
So that would be down to 1.
Okay. So you have 1 harm that you take.
And
Where is
then
the
roll
harm?
+1, right?
Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
So I'm
got
at
that.
1500 on my harm clock. Is that right?
It starts at 1200. Yeah.
Okay.
You start at 1200. 1500 is the first harm.
Yeah, my brain never goes well with the
I
1500.
don't
day-night
love the
move,
clocks
whatever,
for harm. I wish it
I
were
like 1, 2, 3, 4 as a
just,
clock.
1, 2,
It's
3,
fine.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah. Okay, so I roll +1.
All right, roll +1.
That's a 6.
That's great.
Yes.
You wanted
So I
to
don't even take
miss.
any harm. Yeah. So like, I don't bounce off that conduit. I maybe just he gets flung back by that.
No,
point
I mean
blank
you
conduit.
take the harm. You just don't.
Oh
It doesn't
yeah,
get
yeah.
worse.
But it doesn't. I'm back on my feet again, basically, because then you notice that there's like lose your footing, etc. Right. So narratively, it's not as big of a hit as I had already assumed it
You're
was
ready
before I
for
already
it.
engaged with that move.
You did great. Sweet. So he gets hit in the chest. You see that he's bleeding in some places, but in other places along his chest and his neck, like his neck is where he's bleeding. His chest, like you just see the holes where the shrapnel hit, but it hit some dermal plating. So he kind of laughed that off, but it was such a wide spread that it got him in the neck, and he kind of falls back and staggers and places a hand on the wall. Let's cut to Dana. As you just got thrown real far, and we have cosmetic but not rolling a harm type deal.
Okay.
So what do you do when you see this big wad of meat trying to kill your Jawa ally?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing is I'm a cat burglar, but strangely enough, I have some awesome weapons.
You do.
And it's not that I'm great at using them or anything. And there's a part of me that would just like to make this go away. But I guess my first question is would a stun weapon do the trick here, or do I actually have to try to take his head off with my monofilament? Because
A stun weapon, if you can hit him in the right places, a stun weapon should be
sufficient.
good.
Okay, so I think that would be my first. Let's see here. Oh no, I didn't take stun weapon.
Oh no. You just out.
Weird, I swore I took that. I must have clicked on the wrong thing because I wanted monofilament because you could do lots of things with it, not just kill people. Okay. Let's see here. Ugh.
So many weapons to use.
I know, and they're all horrible.
I mean, that silent semi-auto blaster pistol sounds pretty effective.
Yeah,
right now.
just harm close quick. I can see that he's bleeding from the places where he's bleeding, so I will just put a little bit more into one of those areas, I suppose.
Awesome.
Okay.
Let's see you mix it up. You're using violence against an armed force.
So which stat am I using?
You are rolling plus meat.
All right.
Your meat is -1. Oh my.
It is. I dislike it terribly, but I have all the cool weapons. So, okay, here we go. 2d6, I'm subtracting 1 from the thing. Oh, I rolled an 11. So I hit with a 10.
You did indeed. That is wonderful. So your objective was what? To like hurt him enough to take him down.
Yeah, essentially, yeah, to drop him for the time being. Unconscious is what I want.
Yeah, you hit him pretty hard with this silenced blaster pistol. It slams into him, and I think he staggers and then falls. You know what's going to happen, though.
Oh yeah, I just don't want to be the one to do it. Does that make any
sure.
sense? Yes.
Look, it makes a lot of sense. It's fine. Wick, you got slammed into the wall, and then Dana hit him a couple times with a blaster in the back. And he's staggered over. He's not out because he has a good bit of armor.
Yeah, I'm
But
imagining that like
he's
maybe a bit
dazed
of him
right
are sparking, like
Yes.
shocked,
Mhm.
and he's down on one knee in the whole anime, kind of like, one hand clutching the ground, like breathing heavily and sparks. flying off.
Absolutely. And he spatters out a load of black blood. He says, "You're gonna die. You're gonna you're gonna die. Just like the other one."
I think, there was maybe a second where Wick wouldn't have done it if he hadn't said that, but he's just going to, I think, he's going to take him out and then set to work. How do I take him out? Is there a move for that, or do I just?
That is a great question. I think Yeah, our only like hurting people move is mix it up. I don't see anything in the
Can I mean, if you want, you can use my monofilament.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think she'll drop it on the floor and slide it towards you, like right in front of him, so he sees it moving past him to you.
yeah. Maybe like as I raise this, as Wick raises the shotgun, right? You go, wait, and it's like, and then no, just too loud. Hand me the whip.
we cut to Claith as this is going down. I imagine you're in contact with the team. You're running Overwatch. What are you doing right now, Claith?
So, am I in contact with the team? I guess probably also monitoring security channel. So, are there other alarms going off? Is that
That is a great question. I think maybe since you're running Overwatch and trying to keep eyes on things, maybe you should assess right now.
perfect? Also have, okay. I got a +1 from my, oh no, yeah, tactical situation, which maybe I guess this is. So 12 plus whatever that adds for assess the situation. Edge, so like 14.
Wait, what? I see a 6 and a 1.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at an old roll. It was weird, loaded slow for me.
Oh, okay.
10.
Nice. Still pretty great. All right. With a 10 plus on assess, you gain 3 hold. You can spend these right now while this fight is ongoing. You see what your compatriots are doing to the Shadowrunner who was trying to kill them and now might be getting killed himself.
Yeah, so what potential complication do I need to be wary of?
So the good news is that this is the Mistress corridor. So the other team is not allowed to know what's going on. They're not watching this place. The good news is that Grimm was cocky enough that he went in on this by himself and is not in communication with anyone else. The bad news is that Grimm has a Cortex bomb, and if killed, it might go off. He is owned.
Which I relay immediately to my team. Yeah, if you kill him, he's going to explode. So I don't know what you're going to do about that. It might collapse the exit. And then
Good exit strategy, though.
I guess, yeah, how can they avoid trouble or hide? I guess they're in this corridor, so maybe there's not a whole lot of hiding to be done.
There's not a whole lot of hiding. Yeah, if they kill him from a distance, then chances are the Cortex bomb is not going to affect them. Or if they knock him out, you're pretty sure a Cortex bomb won't go out just because somebody gets stunned.
Okay. And then I can keep the other one. I don't know if I have a question.
It's a hold, so you could use it later.
Yeah, and we certainly need to find things beyond this corridor. You know, like
Yeah.
we've got to find our target and get her out of here as well.
Also,
I
while
have
we're on, oh, sorry.
So I just want to say I have a different idea than killing him. If so,
That'll be great. I had a move that I forgot to roll at the start of the
Oh,
mission, which is
yeah,
roll
let's have you do
edge
that right
and
now.
gain some stuff. So I was like, that might come in handy at some point.
Oh, you should assign some tasks here too while we're at a breakpoint because you're really good at that. So go ahead and roll edge.
Which is, I think, an 11, 13. So I get
Wow.
some stuff. 3 hold.
3 hold. Okay.
which
So
I can use for gear or
appearing in a scene whenever you want. That's awesome. Cool. Do you want to, as Overwatch with Here's the Plan, throw out a couple tasks, or you want to sit on that until later?
let me. Yeah. Well, I guess we didn't really talk about exactly. I mean, Dana is obviously getting in,
Mhm.
and
I
so
mean, you could give
yeah.
orders from this moment forward
Okay.
with Here's the Plan. You don't have to go back in time. It just might give them a couple bonuses now that you guys have burned through most of your intel.
Yeah, I think to Dana, like maybe try to do the rest of try to move forward quietly, and Wick try to do it without killing him. That'll help them not explode the cortex bomb.
Okay. So, Will, you said you had an idea for Wick.
Yeah. I think I would like to get in Grimm's face and say, we die, you die unless you pay what you owe the Fatiga clan. You owed him. You owed Sinok, and you killed him. You pay. You pay now, or I take it from you.
Oh, you're playing hardball.
I'm playing hardball, and I am going to extort out of him. He's going to transfer me some creds and back down essentially, or I am going to I'm not going to kill him. I'm going to take him apart. I'm going to take what was owed from his cyberware.
That's pretty wicked. Your edge is 1.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have you roll plus edge.
Could I perhaps gain my bonus because I am trying to do this in a way that doesn't kill Grimm, which was the specific order given to me by my handler.
You do get that.
Oof. 6.
All that.
All that for a 6.
Can I help?
You can.
Okay.
What's that help look like?
I think she kind of she slid the monofilament over, and I think that she steps up with her gun and puts it right. I think that she gets the thing is that there's a sort of the threat of crippling. So she's seen where the bleed is, and instead of putting it at his head she's going to kill him, that's the threat, she actually puts it down by his spine, if that makes any sense.
That makes a lot of sense. Let's have you roll plus links that you have to Wick. That should either be 1 or 0. You have 1. Awesome.
Yeah. So, okay, rolling 2d6 and hoping that, yes, 11 to assist.
Wow. How can you roll so poorly when you do a thing, but when you help, you're so good. You're such a good
I
helper.
am. I'm bad. I mean, I'm good at all the dumb things. So there you go.
That gets you to a 7.
Yeah.
All right. The MC chooses 1. They attempt to remove you as a threat, but not before suffering the established consequences. Oh my. They do it, but they want payback. Add them as a threat. They do it, but tell someone all about it. Advanced. Yeah, they're not going to tell someone all about it. They will do it. He says, yeah. I didn't kill him because I owed him, but I do. Yeah, I'll do it.
You owe Petiga clan.
Right. Your little Petiki clan. And he will forward over 2 cred.
2 creds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 cred.
Yeah, whatever.
It was a flash job. He doesn't work for less than that.
Nice.
He says, listen, he might have got the better end of the deal, It puts something in my head. I gotta do what they say.
Well, we can take out. You know who was really good at taking these out? Seago. But Seago's dead. You'll have to settle for Weewa.
Yeah. You survive this, we'll talk. And he's gonna force himself to get up and try to walk away from this after having forward to cred, and he's gonna see if you let him go.
Can we just leave him in the corridor, like broken, like narratively?
Okay,
You know,
that sounds good.
Like, because we
tries to get
especially
up, but he just doesn't have the energy. He doesn't have anything left. You guys messed him up pretty bad.
And also, well, the thing, if you survive this, we'll see you later. Yes. Don't bleed out. Walk away.
Like it. So yeah, you guys have been
I'm
ordered
now
by your
carrying a
handler.
shotgun bigger than I am, by the way, as well. Like,
Huge shotgun. Awesome. So you make your way through the corridor, and once you reach that corridor, the corridor ends in a back passage into a suite. And that suite also hands off. This is the Corp executive's Mistress suite. So you got to step into there. There's like a jacuzzi tub and this huge hollow display that's showing some shows, and it's huge bed, and a beautiful view of the terrace and the city. And it's interesting from this vantage point. The city looks kind of beautiful.
You know what really looks beautiful?
What's that?
Whatever link there is to whatever information system there is in this household. That's what I need.
So you want to infiltrate into the security system now that you're on site, and that is great. So let's. Oh, that's interesting. I love your cat burglar move. That is so fun. Yeah, cool. So I was looking at your mother duck because that's one of the things we definitely want to do. I feel like at this point, this is a setup for you to covert entry. Like you look over the systems, maybe you patch into where Claith is getting a look through your feed. You see that you have to leave this suite, which means you're going to be in the purview of the head of security here. So Tanner would be able to see you, but you're able to see, okay, here are the camera spreads. Here's where I think there are a couple of gaps. Here is where they have people moving around. And then you find the camera where, you guys, well, it's a random question, but have you ever seen the DJ known as Dead Mouse? He did a bunch of recordings during lockdown at his home studio. And his home studio is, you've seen him live? It's so cool. I think Dead Mouse is a genius. But his stuff that he did during lockdown was in his home studio, and he just live streamed it. And that's what I imagine this looks like. So there are these racks, like server racks of processors off to one side. And then there's this huge set of decks that is like 12 feet across, with all kinds of devices on it. And you see this cute, kind of dwarfed by all of it, Sephi with a leather jacket, who looks tired and more than a little bit lonely, as she is planking away at a keyboard and mixing some stuff on a mixing board, all by herself, with a pair of headphones on like one ear's off. So because these headphones they're human made headphones, and she's got pointed ears. You wear them too long, and you can see that ear is kind of reddened from having to wear headphones for so long. But they are studio, they're pro, but they don't feel good. And that's where you see where she is, where that studio is, and you can chart out a little bit of a course there, pull up the floor plans, and you're going to need to be smart and a little bit lucky to do it.
Okay. All right. What does smart lucky look like then?
I think it like there are ways we could do it with basic moves, but covert entry
Okay.
feels like a thing that you're doing. And you've got Mother Duck, so you can spin some hold to help Wick get through with you if you choose.
Yeah. Do I have to spend hold? Yes, I can. Okay. That sounds great. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna roll and hope for a decent roll.
All right, we'll see how
All
it
right,
goes.
so 2d6 plus 2.
All right, good luck.
That gives me a 9.
What? Oh, you're
but-
supposed to roll terribly.
This is a +1 because you are following the tasks that we were sent.
Yes, you are.
Oh, so that's a 10.
Nice.
Thank you, Clay.
Oh, just because I mentioned it and I have to show it now,
Yes,
you know,
yes,
say
I would
say bus,
appreciate
see
it.
bus.
Yeah.
This is
Aw,
his studio.
nice.
Yeah, that's Joel's studio, aka Dead Mouse, and that was the series of racks. I mean, it looks totally out of Star Wars, you guys.
It does have that kind of weird analog.
Look at all these different keyboards he has. Like, what do you even need all these? It's amazing. Greg Gelder works in tech industry that's adjacent to this. He does like video boards and stuff. He said that each one of these is several $1,000s. So this right here could be maybe $100,000 is what he kind of guesstimated at one point when we were talking about it. So there's that. You rolled a 10 plus. You get 3 hold on covert entry.
Excellent. That means that I could definitely bring Wick with me. I could
Mhm.
even bring Claith with me if I wanted. But let's look at what else we can do with it. Why don't we just, let's see here. I guess just say bypass the security system is
Okay.
essentially it. That essentially we will.
Yeah, you've basically got
At
security
this time,
system.
I'll make a nice little loop for essentially all the hallway
I love it.
camera stuff, just so, and I have it established so that it's long enough and has that sort of, doesn't look all repetitious.
Awesome. So you're setting up a security loop to bypass this security system. And then there are a few guards who are on circuit that you'll also need to deal. You're setting up that loop. We cut out to Claith. You're still on Overwatch. Where do you imagine Claith, like, where is he physically? This is a very residential section of the Corp quarter because they don't want any loud restaurants or, you know, annoying stores around these beautiful estates. So where do you think he has set up his Overwatch?
Yeah. So is it like and this kind of estate, is it trying to get in my mind? It's like, obviously there's grounds around it. Is it like a tall tower? I was thinking if there was a nearest building to be, there's not a lot of inconspicuous places, but like either like a small building to be on top of, or a like a terrace to be on, which might be somebody who wasn't home.
Yeah, I like that.
there's-
It's a different mansion that you are doing Overwatch from. If that's cool with you, I like that. It's the kind of thing to where if you need to, you can zip line over there or something crazy.
Yes, I was like, my gear hold was going to be something like that.
For real. Oh, I love it. We're on the same page. That is the movie I want to watch. So Clay, you're out there, you're watching that, you're checking their feet. Dan is working on the security loop. When you see a couple of shoddy looking speeder trucks, like pickup truck speeders with a lot of people in the back, and they are trolling down the road. They're playing some music, and you recognize the music they're playing, like the kind of music where they're playing is so loud because they want people outside of this to hear it. They're playing leap jump music. They're playing some of Seffi's old tracks. These are Seffi fans. There's some of the Sendites sorry, Cephis is species, Sindar. They're Sindar's fans. These are Sindites. And evidently they have found where Sindar is holed up before the big performance. And there are maybe 20 of them. They've got signs. A lot of them are dressed. Some of them have like fake ears on, like Sephi ears. And they're coming up towards the front of the estate that Dana and Wick are inside right now. What do you do?
Well, if they don't look like a threat, I think that could be useful in some way later. I guess keep an eye on how security is reacting to them. Like, are they near where we need to leave? And security is like, okay, there's a bunch of people here. We're going to have to watch that spot particularly.
Okay. Yeah, you keep eyes on that and watch them as well. Still doing Overwatch, and you give them a heads up that that's coming, I guess, right? What do you tell them?
We got some rabid fans pulled up outside our spot. Just watch out for that.
Nice.
And I think if we could talk back, then it'll be like, what are they doing?
They're waving signs, screaming. They got wind that Sephi was here. Might be able to use that later if we might be able to. I was thinking we might be able to put like a message out on the chats, like if we need them to move and be a distraction, just like, oh, just seen by this entrance over here, and then on their boards rather, or yeah, might be able to get out with them.
Release the Omni-Millennial cut. Release the Omni-Millennial cut. Sindar, we're your biggest fans. So, cutting back to Danny, you've got the security loop set up, and Wick is ready to go.
Okay, then I think that's what we're going to do. So it essentially what it is every time I spend hold, it means that Wick can come along without having to also pass whatever test it is what it is.
Exactly.
So yeah, so have a full 3 is essentially what it is.
You do, but if we math this out, and you know, we're near like half hour left. If we math it out, you can absolutely security loop. You spin a hole, pull Wick through, and the security system is not going to detect you guys. Awesome. You've got 1 hold left. There's a right because you spin a hold to make that happen.
No,
You don't.
Sorry.
It's yeah. Sherry was just saying it's when you spend hold. So like, I can accompany them whenever they spend the hold. They don't spend
Oh,
hold
you're
first.
right. Okay, cool. That's
it
way
took me
better,
a
more
few
effective.
reads. Yes.
Okay, so when you spin a hold, they automatically get to come. Okay, cool. I mean, it was kind of weak otherwise for a move, honestly. So I'm glad that it works that way. I just read it wrong. Awesome. You bypass the security system, and there is a guard who's right outside the place. So how do you handle that? Which hold do you want to use there?
Well, it would be the disable a guard. And
What does that look like?
So it's Dana doing it. So I do think that she has the thing where they have the earbuds or something. So she probably has like a standard stun pulse that she can do if she's like really close to any kind of receiver thing, that where she puts that through and it just like kind of knocks them, it makes them at least woozy or something for that moment. If that makes any sense. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it, is they just need that few minutes. So they go for a stun. She probably has waited till he's just passed and they've got 5 minutes, is essentially because that 5-minute countdown.
Perfect.
If that makes any sense. So
Makes a lot of sense.
Okay. And she's like, let's go.
And Clayton, you started the clock and you're keeping them informed. And the two of you enter, right? And we have the lovely young Danazor, who probably looks like she fits in here except for her hairstyle and her clothes. She looks a little not corporate at all. And then a Karking Jawa come in, carrying a giant scattergun. And the Sephi Sindar looks up. Who are you guys?
We're here to take you somewhere, anywhere, whatever you like. She goes, but
Wherever I like?
yeah, we heard you wanted to get out of here.
Oh, you.
Come on. And she
She
goes,
has this
wait.
moment, or she doesn't want to say you're from another corporation.
Yeah. And she sort of stops and goes, wait. I need a copy of what you've just been working on. You don't want to lose that, right? And essentially.
Oh God, which version?
Which one you like best? Point it out.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on. Let me write it to a data crystal, and she taps a few keys on the thing, and it starts writing. And of course, you see the percentage, like do. And we'll say that a couple minutes pass as she's writing the data. The guard hasn't gotten up; he's still stunned.
Can
So one of the things is I have a recording device that's high speed. I also copy all the other ones once I see where she's copying it from. So I've got like all the alts. I can make some moolah off of that.
Nice.
So,
Nice. Wick, what were you doing during the?
I would just like to assess the place that we're in. While Dana
You know,
is
case the joint.
Yeah, I'd like to case the joint. Yeah. And I think that's something I'm like keeping an eye out, right, and sort of like poking heads around corridors, and then like trying to work out. We've got this. We've looped the security systems, right, but making sure no guards are coming in and like looking desperately back as the hollow crystal fills up with data, because we got to get out of here at some point. Right? So that's an edge of 1. That's a 5.
Oh my.
Yeah, so that's a 5.
let's see here. I could assist me, or does it just mean that you don't get any? No, that's going to be a bad thing, isn't it?
I would like to eat the fail, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So by the way, you guys are on the cusp of getting 2 XP here. You're about to separate Sindar from her corporate handler, and you're about to get the Omni Millennial Tour album. So just as a heads up on the XP front there. You also, I know that because I went to look, because Wick, you just earned an XP with your failure. Yeah. So I think what happens is you're casing the joint. Yeah. You're casing the joint, and then over the comms in this room, in this studio, you hear,
Sindar, move away from those 2. The 2 of you, I will escort you off the premises. Please do not resist when I send the guards your way.
And Wick, I think Wick was actually looking for the things they have in Rogue One with the data, like archive stuff. Like,
yeah, you pull the
there's a
tapes
room
out.
Yeah, he was like hauling on like a tape thing. He's trying to destroy like their copies of the Omni Millennial album, so that like we've got the only extant version.
And I think you do that thing, like you're destroying some stuff.
Yeah, and then a little red light starts flashing, and then that voice comes over the thing, and I'm like,
totally.
And I just stand in front of the red light and like, no one like, how did they find us? Yeah,
the voice comes over, and that is for sure your guy. Your guy you've been trying to avoid. Tanner Sivron is now aware of you guys, and that failure allows me to advance the action phase clock to 2100. And so, got it. We need to go. He's not nice.
Let's go.
Sweet. So, as the 3 of you start to backtrack your way out of there, Dana, what is it that you see on Sindar that reveals to you, that you pick up that she has a lot of cyberware. Because it's not on her face, like she's got a very beautiful face, very photogenic, and it doesn't look plastic. Like she's just pretty. But there's something about her that you pick up as you guys are starting to leave the studio here, where you pick up, she's got.
I'm always scanning. I'm picking up all of that sort of like low level communication between pieces and stuff. It's like I can almost see an outline, but it's more oral than it is visual, if that makes
Nice.
any sense.
Yeah, I like that. Very cool. So you guys pick that up. You're heading back. You know that alarms have been triggered. Clay, you're in on the system, so things are getting heated. So I think looking at time, we got a little bit of time.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes, you may.
I would just really love to see like how we infiltrated the building. We're getting out as like all the security forces are coming in our heels, kind of thing. I'd love to know how is it that Clay helps us get out of here to our ride? Like I want a daring getaway.
So I have a hold from the tactical assessment. So I'll ask what's the best, best safest way to exit. In my mind, I'm pretty committed to this window thing. So but yeah, is that the best way for them to get out?
The window thing of like going down the zip line deal?
I don't know exactly how I'm gonna get,
I just want to make sure I understand what the window thing is.
They're gonna get to the window and I'm going to get them away from the window somehow. Or
awesome.
at least, cut the hole.
Yeah.
And maybe we get picked up by the speeder.
Cool. So the way I'm seeing, I love that. I think the way I'm seeing this here, play droid like I'm following. Yeah, exactly. Is that the Mistress corridor? He's shut that down. Don't go that way, and you can direct traffic as you're coming down the zip line to basically pull Dana, Wick, and Sindar towards the crowd. If you can go out the front door, they're having trouble dealing with the fans, and that's going to give you some cover. Then you should be able to swoop in and be ready for a pickup from Socks as he comes in with his. Does that feel cool? Yeah, exactly. Over the crowd.
And I have one hold left. I can disable the security system that I've already bypassed and actually open the front gate so the fans can come in. Perfect. I love that. So front gate opens up and they come streaming in excitedly. A couple of them jump in the pool, but most of them are focused on Sindar. Got to see her. You're coming towards the front door, and these security guys, they don't want to, these folks, these kids, they have communists, they're recording, they have a little cam droid. If they just open up with their blaster carbines and kill these guys, this is going to be a terrible thing. So of course, Wave Erratica execs are like, no, just hold them back, don't open the doors. And then Dana and Wick, you guys are trying to exfiltrate yourselves. I'd like to see you act under pressure here.
You like to roll
That's
first?
cool.
Sure.
I just didn't know what stat it was. Okay.
Oh, it is rolling
I've
with
got
cool.
a +2.
Apologize.
Okay. So that's cool. Except, okay, here we go. I'm rolling and adding 2. So that gives me a 9.
Okay. On a 7 to 9, you stumble, hesitate, or flinch. Offer you a worse outcome, hard bargain, or ugly choice. Do you want to burn any intel or ask for help?
How much intel or?
You're at a 7 plus 2. You were at a 9. So if you got yourself to a 10, then there would be no cost or.
I was asking how much intel we
have one intel to spend.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Actually, I'm going to ask Clay for help because you might need help and a intel a wick. So we don't know
There
what your
you
role
go.
is yet.
Let's see if this help works.
Yes.
You got a 1 in a link to Dana, and you rolled a 7 plus 1, 8. That will push you through to a 10 plus. But that help means that you guys are all up in it. Yeah, so now you're implicating the results of the other character's move and may expose yourself danger, retribution, or cost. I love it.
Yeah, my voice is heard over the comms that they've probably now tapped into.
Nice. Yeah, and Wick, let's see you act under pressure. Dice have really wanted you to get an advancement, I think, lately.
Yeah, I've only missed one. Totally. But yeah, I kind of imagining this is yeah, we were at that window, that zip line thing. You fired the zip line thing from the other roof, right?
I fired a zip line, and I think I imagine it's like it's a suction cup thing that hits the window, and then there's like two lasers that come down from that and cut out the window piece that falls shattering to the ground.
That's awesome.
Nice. And a little mechanical like handles that will pull us back up the zip line the other way to, yeah, I love it. And well, Dana clearly is making it. Let's see.
And a couple of Corp guards come around and they're firing blaster carbines at Wick because he's not cool. You got a -1 cool. You're not cool at all.
No.
Dirty Jawa.
Oh, that's a 5.
5 total.
5 total.
Okay, so intel to help you, right?
Yeah.
And then I'll see if I can assist you. So 2d6, and I'm adding 1. So 6.
Yeah.
Not a great help.
So nasty.
No, I'm up in it.
All right.
I mean, clearly you're waiting for me on the zip line, right? Like,
Exactly.
come on.
I've sent Cinder, ahead. So she's over with
Sindar
Blake.
grabs hold of the thing and she
So
starts
gross.
to zip away. She looks back. Are you guys not coming with me? She zips up the line. The crowd's like, oh, she can fly. No, she's on the line. It's still awesome. And we cut to Claith as she comes up the line and you have to pull her off the line. And then we zip down to Wick and Dana. Wick, I think you get shot, man. I think that's exactly what happens. These folks, they are using, at our current where our our action phase is, they have armed up. They are conspicuous corporate security assets, and there is 3 harm coming your way.
3 harm. Well, I will roll +2 because I have armor, and oof. Oh, that's a bad move.
That is 12.
Yeah, that's terrible for me.
This is a bad time for you to roll such a move. I think someone's going to have to pick your poor little Jawa body up and carry you away. Because if we look in peripheral moves, when you roll a 10+, you get to choose one. You're out of action, unconscious, trapped, incoherent, or panicked. You take the full harm of the attack before it was reduced by armor. If you already took the full harm of the attack, take +1 harm. Lose the use of a piece of cyberware until you can get it repaired, or lose a body part, arm, leg, or eye.
I think I will be unconscious. I think I will. I think it's like as I'm running, it's like the blaster bolts are just picking holes through my robes and the equipment, right? And different things are exploding off me as I drop them as I run down the corridor. That shotgun goes exploding into pieces, and I just like then suddenly get blown forwards, like smoking, rolling to the bottom of Dana's feet, and I just go like,
and because of your failed help, Dana, you also will take some harm. You're going to take 2 harm, as they are firing at both of you. So, fortunately, Wick took a lot of that. That's why there's only 2 coming to you.
Okay.
You have any? I don't know if you have any armor.
I don't know that I do. Let's see.
Yeah, it
here.
would
I
be
didn't see
in
the-
your gear, and I think you just got a lot of weapons.
I just took stuff. So I took links and things.
Yep.
So I think that I will take the 2. Whatever that does.
Okay. What that does is that will move you from 1,200, which is your fine, to 1,500 to 1,800. But you also need to roll plus harm taken. So you're going to roll +2, and you want to roll low on this.
Okay. Well, I've been able to do that fairly consistently early. So
That's
let's
true.
see,
You should not have mentioned that to the dice ahead of time. I'm just saying superstitiously.
there you go. So I got a 7 though.
You got a 7.
So,
That's
yeah.
better than a high one. So
Yep.
the MC chooses one on this one. I can choose you lose your footing, you lose your grip on whatever you're holding. That would be Wick. I don't want to do that. That's just too mean. You lose track of someone or something you're attending to. Here is what happens. So you grab Wick up, snatch onto the other thing to zip line yourself away, and it yanks you guys up. You escape, and when you look back, you see that the little recording rod that you got all the extra recordings of that would have been your bonus, you've left it behind. You could drop down and try to run back in there if you want, but at this point they are standing at the window and firing after you guys, but you are retreating away. They're getting smaller and smaller. You're headed towards where Claith and Sindar are. You hear the speeder of Socks making its way towards you. So what do you do, Dana?
I think that essentially my whole thing is to get Wick into the speeder. And that's, I won't go back after my beloved recordings. You are very cruel.
Oh my goodness, this speeder is so nice.
It is.
Sindar is saying.
It is.
Yeah, I think looking at time, if you guys are okay with this, I mean, we could rush ahead and get paid and all that stuff, or we could kind of pause right here. And then when Alan returns, he gets his wish granted that this will be a chase sequence. Is everybody cool with that?
I love that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So
That'd
unconscious
be a great
Wick.
hard frame, like
Yeah.
your wish from last time. We're right here and go. That's great.
Exactly. So yeah, Wick gets thrown into the back of the speeder. And if you're wondering what it looks like, there's an awesome picture of it on the bottom left-hand corner of the team page. I will unhide Alan's bit so you can see it. And yeah, so there are basically 2 actual seats. I imagine Sindar is in the passenger seat and Wick is, I guess, on her lap. That sounds funny to me. I like the idea of Wick waking up in Sindar's lap, if that's, and I guess Dana, you're kind of hunkered in between them with Claith on the back. Yeah, it's awesome.
It's
I think
probably
we're both,
mag clips to the back.
Oh yeah, mag clips on the back. Awesome. And you guys are about to fly away as you see a few speeder bikes. Those speeder bikes are zipping closer, and that is where we will end the action of this particular thing. I'm going to go ahead and add 1 XP to Socks because you have successfully separated Sindar from her handlers. So everyone gets to mark XP for that.
Okay, let's see. We had some failures and then
I think you rolled 1 failure, right, when you were helping me.
And then we got 3 total for the mission.
We don't get the one for Legally Omni the Millennial tour because we left it behind, I guess.
No, that was the extras.
That was the
okay.
extra.
We got that.
Dana less the, you haven't leaked it yet, but you're on the doorstep of leaking the Omni Millennial tour album.
Yes.
You lost the bootlegs is what you lost.
Some fan is going to be very excited.
Very happy. One of those
crowd that fell into.
Yeah, hopefully it dropped with them. Yeah, so as long as it gets out. Okay.
Cool. So we will save the last piece of this mission and hopefully get into a new mission next session. Because boy, the idea of doing 4 sessions for 1 mission just that's not what I want. I want 2 missions out of these 4 sessions. Darn it, I want them. Let's do some stars and wishes with our remaining time, friends. Let's start with wishes so that we can end with stars. Who'd like to go first talking about wishes? We have 2 sessions. We're at the midpoint here. And then also if there are any rules, questions, clarifications, those things, definitely put that in wishes and I will do my best to have answers.
I'm happy to go first if nobody else
Okay.
at once. Wishes, I think I'd like to agree with you, do the chase, to get paid, and then I'd like to do my hustle and see what they've been doing while I've been on the mission. And otherwise, I think I'd like for us to choose. Well, do you have more missions prepped, Rich, or is it the second one going to be like a free form we choose one? Or...
Oh, you mean like have a few options
because
for you
this
to
is
choose
like
among?
a pre-made mission, right? You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like,
this is a pre-made
yeah.
mission. It was me to get my feet wet with Sprawl.
Yeah. I'd say like it'd be fun to do a different type of operation.
Yes.
You know, like maybe a hunt or a destruction, or a smuggle courier. Smuggling seems like something we might do. That kind of thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And Star, should join Stars as well.
Sure. If you want to do both, that sounds fine. Go for it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I had a great time. I really enjoyed learning the system as we went, and you know, does the rule mean it like that or like that, and coming to an agreement and all of that. I do enjoy that crunchier side of play as well as all the story and everything. And I also really enjoyed just how Star Warsy cyberpunk the whole thing felt. You know, and right down to the plans and all of the things, and the infiltration and the nemesis and the rivals and the daring escape. It was great.
Yes. I don't want to steal Stars, but that daring escape, Brandon did a couple of things that I really liked that I'm just saying so we can circle back to it. Sherry, do you want to go next with wishes?
Sure. I think wishes are, I want to make essentially my covert entry useful no matter where we go. So if we need to, I'm looking forward to the opportunity to use it in a less straightforward way. This is very much, you know, we're in here, we're trying to get in, whereas using it just to in other environments for different purposes would be awesome in some ways. You're being covert when you don't need to be covert, I suppose, is what it is. Just give you a set of skills. So, and then let's see here, Stars. I really, Will, your Java wig is a gem and a treasure, and I am so glad to have played with them. They kept things moving, and it stayed very interesting. And Clay, as the Overwatch guy, you were the best and most involved Overwatch I have ever seen. Genius all along the line there. It was really good and really interesting. Added a lot of information to the mission, and I had a really good visual picture of the whole thing, Rich. So that's all of us doing that, and it was a really strong sense of what was going on. Didn't get lost in that theater of mind. So very much enjoyed that.
Great. Brandon, do you have any wishes?
Yeah, I appreciate the Stars. I know I was as part of learning the system was, I think, you know, getting a little stuck in trying to figure out if something was mechanics or just doing stuff. So wishing, and I think you've fulfilled as we're playing, getting a bit of a better handle on it. So just think more about what the characters are actually doing, but also enjoyed how the system helped and gave some ideas with that. That was, yeah, I felt like part of the scene that we were doing, even though I wasn't. That was, you know, I'll move into Stars. You know, as I was, even though I was removed from it, the whole, you know, felt like I was part of it, which was nice. It's good.
Cool. Yeah, Brandon, the zip line, and then had the way you described the zip line with the cutout, that was so cool, and it felt like an interesting cyberpunk Star Warsy combo to me, which is a hard, like 70s Star Wars always feels very 70s tech, so glomming on cyberpunk with it, but like scaling back certain pieces can be challenging. But I think you really nailed both of those worlds really well with that. I liked Dana's infiltration. I love that you got to Mother Duck. I was really happy that Wick was kind of shockingly behind. Yeah, 76 versus 80 is a really good, like that's totally what it is. But Wick tagging along and then viciously taking out Grim, who I really thought was going to be tougher. Dadgum. Maybe yeah, I'd love that the Cortex bomb and backing out of it. That was a fun bit of pivoting from you guys, and that was fun. I really enjoyed this mission, and I'm looking forward to our cool speeder car chase above the estates in the outer edges of corporate quarter as you are racing towards Neon Quarter to premiere your Sindar and her leap jump music. So I can't wait till next week as we continue this mission and bring it to a close. Thank you guys so much. And with that, we'll end the recording.